Okay, so yeah, we are at the entrance to the treasure cove. I might remove those pavers down the line. Not too sure about that yet, but we're just living with that for now. Or maybe I will paint them brown so that they blend in more, but that's still a sort of a something that I will mull over and contemplate. Um, that little pot where the little kitty is at. I have a euphorbia which I've taken out, which I want to plant in there. The treasure cove is very much in process. There's a lot of clutter like a lot of other areas, but we're getting there. We eating the elephant one bite at a time. I do have a lot of succulents out the kitchen area, which I'm very bad and do not water anywhere near regularly enough. So I'm wanting to get those all out because they're under sort of a roofed area there. So they have to obviously fend for themselves when I haven't watered them for a few weeks, which is very bad. But they are the toughest of toughs and they have survived on very minimal water. At least if they're outside, they can live off of the rain or the moisture, that kind of thing. So, yeah, this area will just require a lot of neatening up just to give you a feeling of kind of what is what. So the watering can, the pot behind, we'll plant in those there. We'll need to plant something in. Things like that might possibly change. These two chairs, maybe I might cover these with like a fake grass or so. This is very much still like a repurposed section of the garden, like little pots that are damaged but look beautiful with succulents in. This is mostly going to be succulents. There's my little coffee table with all the scraps of wool making nice colorful balls. So yeah, the succulents are in here, exciting little pots, an old pair of slippers which I might just also plant in. What else is here? My little mermaid. That's a little sedum that we just moved out from another area just to give her like a little sort of a pond area to sit in. So all these little bowls are things that I've gotten the from the markets when we go to the markets. This little paver sort of entrance, I want to move that a little bit more forward, probably about maybe another meter or two. Let's walk over there. So yes, I'll probably move it to about here. So we're looking at a whole lot of, I don't know what kind of reed that is, but in any case, that reed was all in here. Where you see that little pile of soil, there was a huge, yeah, there was a big hole. I put a little bit of soil in. So all of these came out of here. So they were a bit overgrown. They've been there for many, many years. So the intention is to replant these behind all these succulents, so that if we go in and we are sitting here, we are creating a like a wall behind that there of plants, so that when you're walking on that side of the garden by the driveway side, you won't see through to this little succulent treasure trove. So in a way, this will become a like a secluded little spot in the garden. So I don't want this visible, other than maybe a little bit here and there, from the outside garden, if I can put it that way. So you will only see the exciting things to see when you physically come in through the arch that we walked in when I first entered into. Yeah, so there's lots of exciting little things. A lot of this is succulents that have survived drought, neglect, and I popped them in. Yeah, these are aeoniums that were alongside the driveway, but they couldn't tolerate water being splashed on them when we had hectic rain. So I've broken the solid heads of the aeoniums off and I stuck them in here. And there was further along, those I haven't actually planted them. I've just rested them on the ground, and hopefully they will just root. So those are parts of the aeoniums from the other one with the big solid one. Somebody once told me that they kind of sort of like deformed when they are like this, where they're tightly bunched together and they're not a big solid sort of floret like the other ones, big flower. If I scan over to there, there's a very cute little tree. Very cute little tree. I would like to do like a little fairy house there on that little green pot. So on today's agenda, we are going to move all those reeds to create a barrier over here. The current grasses that are here are pink hair grasses, which I'm going to need to move out. This whole area is overrun with weeds and a certain kind of grass. I'm not sure exactly what kind of grass it is, but okay, sorry guys, that was the alarm for the washing, but Clary's gone to put that up. So all the pink hairs need to be moved. Maybe it might be a temporary spot, so I'm wanting to put them over there, running sort of all along the front there. Then this pathway will extend and curve around, and then we'll come out onto here. Let me take you from a little bit more of a distance so I can tell you what sort of the intentions are down the line, but bearing in mind things could change, ideas evolve, they're constantly growing. So this bed, I'm wanting to extend this bed, probably not this year, maybe it's just an intention for down the line, so that we can make that little, like a rock garden, that treasure trove to extend, where we would keep all grasses and succulents and rocks, possibly rocks that I would make, because I would want some big rocks. So, maybe put like a fill of sorts and then create like a cement rock effect maybe over it. I haven't quite thought about how we're going to exactly go about this. But this bed will extend all the way and then go around those two swamp cypress. Those are two swamp cypress. So it's going to hug the swamp cypress very close around the trunks, as we have to come in at the top of the driveway there, just access for if we have a big truck with mulch of sorts. So that is going to go there. So that is the intention for this section of the garden. That pathway where we would come out next to the agave, I would then make it like a path that would loop within that bed, and just in front of those two swamp cypresses. So maybe I must actually walk kind of what we would have been doing there. Okay, so this is where we would come out over here, come out over there, and then we would possibly loop around. No, this you can't really see as there is no edge of any sorts, but it would make a loop just in front of the trees. So there will be kind of like this island sort of thing in the middle where I would have big rocks and succulents and grasses and things like that. So somewhere at this point, I would want to cut back into the bed. Cut back into the bed. Here's a grass path. Now originally I had the grass path, it sort of entered out there, but I need to dig some of this up and like reroute this grass path. So let's turn us around again. Okay, so that section there, until where it takes a bend, we'll take it out and then create a new loop on the inner side of these swamp cypresses. So originally I had it, yes, as we walked the pathway, and then we were going to enter from here in front of this pot. But I felt that the whole little sort of alcove area was just too visible from the driveway side and was difficult to kind of like obscure the view. So I've sort of decided to cut out this chunk of the path and then reroute it so that the path runs this side of this conifer and then will join back up in with the path as it entered on the other side. So looking from this side, I'm wanting to put all those reeds along there, then that should sufficiently cover all that area, so it's an exciting little place that you're not seeing from the outside. So that is what we are going to be tackling today, and then little bit by little bit we will just tackle the section within there. There's a bit of carpet that extends towards the back. I used an old carpet to act as sort of like a floor covering, also very much from the sake of so that a weed barrier. It's more like a weed barrier sort of thing. So yes, it does look rather vibrant and bright with the carpet there, the red carpet. So there is a section that I just added. You can sort of see where that line runs across. So I need to take that piece out again and see how I can extend this little section of carpet so that it sort of stops here where these last two pots are, and then we'd have the pavers, this sort of little paver brick section, which would then take you onto a different sort of pathway, maybe a gravel pathway or a pebble pathway. Maybe the pathway will possibly change as we go through the garden. I haven't quite decided on the pathway, but I think that will just come down the line as we extend the garden out, as we are creating. Sometimes one decides and then you change, or it's very much a what feels right. It has to feel right, and sometimes you sort of know when something is out of kilter or just not feeling right. So this little garden is very much on what feels right. But yes, there's lots of pots that we can fill with exciting little little succulent gardens and things like that. All exciting, colourful little things. Some of these, like that little red ceramic pot, doesn't have a hole in it, so the water gathers in there. So I need to ask Seaton to drill a hole for me, or maybe that's something I should even learn how to do myself. The garden is very much trial and error, experimentation, moving things around, and the garden evolves as time goes by. The garden, it just evolves. Bring you up closer, give you just a little taste. It's a little candle holder, so I just put a stone in. Somebody, I think one of the kids painted the stones. It says love. So it's little treasures like that sort of thing. There's a little owl that came from New Bethesda, which is like very much an artist's little town, yeah, in the Eastern Cape. That came along with the mermaid when we went to go visit New Bethesda for a friend's wedding. So this is just a little garden I created some time back that was in a different section of the garden. I wanted to make this particular patio more like a sort of a pink patio with succulents that tended more towards the pink side of things. Hence we've got the rose quartz in there. Things like that ugly pot vase in the back there, that I might paint another color. That is something I made when I was at college doing art classes. So these are more little treasures that I've collected from the markets. That's Toro, my bull. There's more little stones and things that the kids have painted. Little sign that says hope. Things like that. We need to make that look pretty. There's a little fairy house, fairy garden that needs a hole in and to be planted in. Just giving you a little bit of a taste. That's Cove flowers that we cut off when I try to move them. That's sort of like a big work of art with a kudu on there, and then just special little stones that I've picked up when we go to the beach. So all like pretty stones like this I'll be putting in the rock garden, and then also making bigger ones. So yeah, we are back at the entrance. So that is on the agenda for today. So we're all done planting the reeds. We now have a very nice reed wall. So another reed behind this like sort of twiggy mass in this pot. Go from the other angle. That's where it is peeking out from a little further back. Doesn't give 100% coverage, but it is good. It serves the purpose of making like sort of a little bit of a netty veil, if one can put it, obscure the view more than block the view totally. And then all the pink hairs are over there. I did bring the other piece of carpet out just to extend this little piece, but I do need to cut that piece off, and we need to fine-tune the pathway, but that'll be for another day. Then we can make the inside look a bit neater and plant up all the pots and get finished up in this area. So if we step back, let's see, yeah, the conifer comes out quite far, so I will need to get another pink hair, possibly two, just so that when the pathway loops around from the outside, you're not walking under the conifer but around the conifer as it joins in with this current path. So let me take you around so you can sort of see from the other side and then show you so we'll be walking this way around the conifer, then here's the pathway that I rerouted. Okay, my shadow's making nonsense now. I don't know if the sun is shining a bit much. There's the pathway rerouted. Now, yeah, where it curved, it ran straight into the reeds at the back. So there we have our reed wall. It turned out quite nicely. See if we can back up a little bit onto the driveway. So it is still visible, but as the grasses grow and fill out, it will provide a bit more of an obscured view, which is going to serve the purposes just perfectly. If necessary, I could always take maybe some sticks of sorts and pop them in along between the grasses just to maybe provide a little bit more of an obstruction to what is happening behind, a distraction more than I should say, an obstruction. So, yes, that